Hello, and welcome to the Passion Driven Pioneers interview series. I'm your host, John Channon, and today I'm joined by Dan Bowling, who's the president of the Genesis Company. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here. Our company's whole goal is to help entrepreneurs thrive. So I'm happy to talk about it. Moreover, I've got a personal goal to try to be available and helpful. So very happy to be here, happy to serve.
Awesome. Listen, would you like to just kick us off with a brief background as to who you are, what you do, and then the business that you're in?
Yeah, for sure. So I run the Genesis Company. It's one of the more successful agencies at scaling CPG brands, so consumer product brands. We're unique, John, because we manage all channels: direct to consumer, Amazon, physical retail as well. Like Target, we have like 100 brands that we manage at Target. And one of the things that differentiates us is just our executive team is so strong. And when you hire us, you get like an overnight team, right? That instills best practices, tools, resources. So I think we manage over $400 million in retail sales annually. So that's a little bit about what we do, which is a little bit of everything.
That's great. So, talk to me about what maybe inspired you, or was there a spark to start up your own business?
Oh, that's a great question. I think really it actually started like at a young age. I had some things happen to me like when I was a kid that I didn't like my dad passed away, right, when I was 12. And I think from that moment, I kind of thought I would like to be in control of what happens to me as much as possible, right? And I think, looking back on it, that was actually accentuated by some of my first career role. Like I worked at 3M, awesome experience, wonderful company. But they didn't move as fast as I wanted to, right? And they didn't take as many risks as I thought they would need to. So I think from there, I just decided I want to be in control of my own company and have my own vision. And I'm also a man of faith. Like I believe that I was created to grow, right, and to help people and to serve. So when you think about entrepreneurship, that's really what it is at its core, is trying to figure out how to solve problems and serve other people. So our tagline is, where brands flourish and leaders thrive. Like we're really all about the human element, because we think a company, or a brand, it's really the sum of its people. We're only as strong as the people behind it. So, yeah, I think there's always been like a very clear either internal, intuition, or external experiences that have kind of led me to believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
So, you mentioned you had a corporate career
Yeah.
and you decided to start up this business. Talk to us about that startup process. As you were getting this up and going, were there any surprises that you ran into, or any things that you didn't expect that you needed to kind of manage on the front end?
Yeah, I came into this, I actually acquired this company. So I think,
Okay.
there's a cheat code for people. I think it's way harder. So this is a shout out to the original founder, to get to a company from a zero to like a 1 million than it is to get it from 1 million to 10. So even though it's 10 times the growth, I think it's still 10 times less hard to do that. So what I did was acquire the company. And I think when I started here, I was just a salesperson and I had no guarantee, no opportunity, up front to buy it. It just kind of happened. And I think one of the reasons it happened, and a good piece of advice for anybody listening, like if you have that itch to be an entrepreneur, whatever role or job you have right now, start pretending that you're the owner of it. Like I don't care, if you're what role that is, whether you're a assistant to the assistant, right? But whatever responsibility you're given, pretend you own that. And it's like, what would you do within that role to make it better, to make it more effective, to make it more efficient? And that's what I did from day one. When I walked in here, is I thought, I'm the owner. I want to be the owner. And I would write down every time I thought, here's something we could do better. Here's something we could do different. And I still have the notebook, it was like 10,000 different things I wrote down over a 5-year period of like, if I ever ran it, I would do it this way. Um, Half of them are a little ridiculous looking back on it, but it's just kind of a mental framework that I started with, and there was a couple things that um, came of that. Not just like thinking about it that long, but I also knew there was two things that I would have had to have done to someday take over the company. And I kind of stole this from my favorite movie, The Gladiator, right? You have to win the crowd to win your freedom. And how I internalized that was I had to make sure that I earned like the trust and the respect of all my colleagues. And when I started here, and even when I took over as owner, which was in 2020, I was the youngest person here. So I wanted to make sure that throughout that journey, if they ever went from like teammates to my employees, that they knew that, I loved them. I was on their side and I was going to make decisions for their best interest. The third thing that really helped me do, or the other thing that helped me do, is I knew that I had to earn that same respect to all of our clients, because would they want me to be leading, their sales efforts and strategies? So, from day one, I came in trying to think, what would I do if I was the owner, trying to earn the respect of my colleagues, and then really tried to earn the respect of all of our manufacturers. So when I took over, if I was ever able to, they'd stay with me and be excited about that change.
Talk to us a little bit about those conversations that you had with the previous owner that kind of set you up or let them know that you were interested in acquiring this company.
Well, one of the byproducts of when I'm coming in and doing my job, so well, and when I'm talking with him in all of our conversations, asking questions and putting forth thought of like, hey, what do you think about doing employee reviews this way? Or hey, what do you think about doing this a little bit different? Like over the course of many, days, weeks, and months, I think it became apparent to him that I was probably, first in line to take over someday. And quite frankly, he knew before I did that I would be a good fit. And the tables kind of turned a little bit where he started, to really invest in me as kind of the person that can take over someday.
I'm going to change subject a little bit now and move on to talk to us a little bit about how you stay adaptable and open to change, and what are some of the things that you guys do to remain innovative in your industry?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I mean, we love change. So, we're fans at some level of failure. And what I mean by that is like we're launching new products and new services and new ideas so often that we know that some of them won't stick, and we're totally okay with that. And because we don't really believe in failure. I mean, the only way that you can fail is if you don't learn. But if you do learn something, it was just a case study, right? So we're either going to launch something successful or we're going to get a case study on how our next thing will be successful. So our way to innovate is just to continually be on offense, all day long. We not to get too dramatic, but like we sell to Target, and it's like the Serengeti, because it's kill or be killed from the standpoint of like, if I get a brand of mine on, somebody else got kicked off, or vice versa, right? Like if my clients are in the black, our competition's in the red. So it's one of those things where we know that we always have to be on offense, trying to think of best practices. And we're just not afraid. We're not afraid to try. We're not afraid to invest in new resources, new capital either.
And is that fairly important in your industry? That being adaptable to change, and that, that I think you said being a fan of failure, but also being innovative?
Yeah, no, I think without a doubt. And the reason being, like, so in the consumer product world, there's 30,000 new consumer products launched every year. So, if you talk to like a Target buyer, they see 1,000 items a year. Like they have more than enough items to choose from. So like good product is not the problem, right? It's trying to figure out how are you going to stand out, and one of the things that we do at the Genesis company is, yes, we're a sales firm, but we're a marketing firm first. And the reason being is we don't believe in the old adage, it used to be that everybody said product is king. We don't think that's true. We think marketing is king. Like you need a good product, but you need great marketing.
That's good. I appreciate you sharing that.
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about the future. Would you mind offering a glimpse into some of your future plans and goals you have for your business?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we operate everything off of a business framework that I actually stole from Mark Laurie, who's one of my like favorite entrepreneurs, and it's called VCP, right? It's Vision, Capital, People. So the vision that we put forth was to be the best of the best at scaling, consumer brands across all channels. So we're going to continue to invest in direct consumer services and data, Amazon, physical retail, and our differentiation is really all around data. So we're working on some big things around data that we think will be a game changer. Um, and since we work with, right now, like we only work with Target for the most part, and, Inc. Magazine has awarded us, best of 3 different times. So a lot of our clients are kind of begging us, like, hey, can you also represent us at, Walmart or other retailers? So, we're going to have to try to figure out how to serve as many brands as possible, especially when they're, asking us to. So we'll continue to expand kind of our Genesis way or our proven process. So high level, we're going to do everything we can to get better and better. And I think, John, one piece of feedback for entrepreneurs, like once they become profitable in your business, I have 3 pieces of advice for them, and that's reinvest, reinvest, reinvest. I mean, if you want to be able to have the best systems and processes and most important, like attract the best people, right? You've got to have the ability to invest in continued growth and innovation and best practices in your culture. So I could have a bigger home if I wanted to. I could probably take home more money, but I think the bigger investment or the best investment is just to continue to invest in our people and in our company. So we're all in, and my team's all in because they know I'm all in. So it's great.
That's good. That's really good. So, let me ask you my magic wand question. This one, I
Sure.
don't think my team prepped you for this one, but if you could wave a magic wand and change just one thing about your business, what would that be?
Yeah, well, it's funny. I chose to do this because I wanted to move fast and be in control. So I left a Fortune 50 company. But now I'm selling to a Fortune 50 company who doesn't move as fast and as I would want them to. So I'm sure you probably hear this from all entrepreneurs. Like we all want to just move faster and have less restrictions. So if I could wave a magic wand, it would be that. It would be, hey, vendors know what we're doing. We're the ones that build brands from scratch. Give us a little bit more leeway. Let's move faster in our partnership. So that's certainly the first thing that comes to mind is just speed.
Cool. Oh, that's good. I appreciate you entertaining that question.
Yeah.
Knowing that this show, right, is kind of targeted towards people that are going to be in their first few years of business, do you have any final thoughts or words of advice you'd like to share with our audience today?
Yeah, when I speak at colleges, I get this question a lot, or they ask me for advice, and what I tell everybody is this: I think the best thing to do out of college is work for the biggest company that you can get into. And it's especially great if it's in a field that's somewhat interesting to you. And the thing is, like, big businesses already made it. Like they started small. They were entrepreneurial companies, right? And now they're massive. And from there you get to like, take advantage of their training, learn their best practices, learn their proven processes, be managed by somebody, right? And learn like what do you like about their approach or not like about their approach. So take that first role at a big company, learn everything you can about what you really love, how they do things, their resources, how they do employee reviews, right? And try to capture all of that and put that into your bank. So if you're ever running your company, you've got a good foundation of how things should go. And then the second part is just back to that mindset. Like no matter what role you're at, even if you don't have a job right now, like if you're just a student, pretend that like you own that class, and it's like, what would I need to do to make this class better? What would I need to do to make myself learn better? So I think it's really just a mindset. And then I'd say the third thing is just remember what Steve Jobs said, which is most of everything you see around you was made by people no smarter than you. So we have this profound and I think dangerous desire to like really lift up people as is like they're the 1% and they're this and they're that. Most everybody's just like you and me. And I don't want anyone to think that they can't be successful. The road to success is really one thing. It's consistency. Can you consistently put the inputs in every day? And if you do that, you'll be great, you know, and there's no such thing as an overnight success. They take about 7 years.
That's a good one. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time today, Dan.
No worries.
It was really nice meeting you, learning more about your entrepreneurial journey, in this case, your purchase of a business. And I appreciate all the advice that you share with the audience. And for everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.